You raised them, you sacrificed, you stayed up at night, you gave them more than you had, and now, you can barely finish a sentence without being interrupted. They roll their eyes, they ignore your advice. Sometimes, they speak to you like a burden. You sit in your own home and feel like a stranger, like you've become invisible in their world. And maybe, deep inside, you've asked yourself, did I lose their respect somewhere along the way? You're not alone. And this part is important. It's not too late to change it. Hi, and welcome to Speech Balloon Longevity Talks Herb. This episode is for anyone over 60 who's ever felt unheard, dismissed, or disrespected, especially by the very people they love most, their children. We won't yell, we won't shame, but we will talk honestly about what's happening and what you can do, because respect isn't just something you give, it's something you model, something you build, and if you feel like you've lost it, you can rebuild it. In this video, we'll go through 6 powerful ways to respond when your children stop treating you with the respect you deserve. You'll learn what not to do when you feel hurt or ignored, the secret shift that changes how your kids see you, and how to speak and act in ways that earn respect without needing to fight for it. You're still a parent, you still have wisdom, and your voice still matters. Let's begin. Stop explaining, start holding space. When was the last time you tried to explain yourself, and they just brushed it off? You tried to say how you felt, tried to defend your choices, tried to get them to understand, but the more you talked, the less they listened. The louder your words, the colder their eyes. That's the trap. Trying to earn respect through explanation. Speech Balloon Real Comment says, I kept trying to get them to see my side. They didn't even hear me. I felt smaller every time. The truth is, explanation often sounds like justification, and when you explain too much, you start sounding unsure, uncertain, needy, but you're not. You have lived. You have survived. You don't owe your story to someone who isn't ready to hear it. Speech Balloon story. Diane's silence. Diane, 72, used to argue with her daughter constantly about everything. Politics, food, how to raise the grandkids. She'd write long texts, try to make it clear, until one day she stopped. She listened, nodded, let her daughter talk. At the end, she simply said, "Thank you for sharing. I'll think about it." That one sentence changed everything. Aledikai? Her daughter came back the next day and said, "You didn't argue, you respected me. That made me want to listen more." Brain, why this works. Sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is say less. When you stop chasing their understanding, you become a presence, not a plea. You hold the space. You radiate calm. You speak with your eyes, not just your words. And that's when people begin to wonder, what am I missing? Wrench what you can do. 1. Next time you're interrupted, pause. Don't raise your voice. Just breathe. Let silence speak. 2. Replace explanations with strength. Try, "This is what I believe," or, "You may see it differently." That's okay. 3. Be brief, be calm, be grounded. When your voice is rooted, respect follows naturally. Compass the deeper truth. You don't earn respect by proving your point. You earn it by knowing when you don't need to. Let your presence carry weight. Let your silence carry peace. And let them come to you, not because you shouted, but because you stood tall without saying a word. Reclaim boundaries without guilt. You want to help. You want to be close. You want to be a good parent, even now. So you say yes again. You stay quiet when they speak harshly. You babysit when you're tired. You lend money, even when it leaves you short. But deep down, you feel it. You're being crossed, and you're starting to disappear. Speech Balloon Real Comment says, I didn't set boundaries because I thought it was selfish, but I became invisible in the process. Here's the truth. Love without boundaries becomes burnout. Kindness without limits becomes resentment. And when you allow your children to treat you as an option, they start seeing you as less than you are. Speech balloon story. Robert's quiet number Robert, 75, had a son who often came over unannounced, used his tools, left dishes, borrowed money, never returned it. Robert said nothing for years. One day, when his son walked in without knocking, Robert met him at the door and said, "I love you, but from now on, please call first." It wasn't a fight, it was a line, and for the first time his son apologized. Respect didn't return with anger. It returned with clarity. Brain, why this works. Boundaries are not rejection, they're a map, showing others how to treat you. When you reclaim your space, your time, your needs, you teach people that your life is still yours. You teach them, I may be older, but I am not your doormat. Wrench what you can do. 1. Choose one boundary to restore. Start small. I won't take calls after 9 p.m. or I'm not available on Sundays. 2. Say it with warmth, not guilt. Try, I love you, and this is what works best for me now. 3. Stick to it, even when tested. Consistency is where respect grows. Compass, the deeper truth. Setting boundaries isn't about pushing people away. It's about holding space for yourself, so you don't get pushed out of your own life. You don't need permission to protect your peace. You just need the courage to say, this matters to me, and so do I. Stop trying to be useful to deserve love. You cook, you clean, you drive them to appointments. You say yes, even when you're tired. Why? Because maybe, deep down, you believe that if you stop being useful, you'll stop being wanted. Speech balloon real comment says, I was afraid to stop helping, afraid they'd stop coming around. I felt like if I wasn't doing something for them, I didn't matter. This is one of the hardest truths. You can't serve your way into self-worth when love becomes a transaction. You're not loved, you're needed. And when you stop being needed, you fear you'll be forgotten. Speech balloon story. Anita's exhaustion. Anita, 79, was always the fixer. Her kids brought problems. She had answers. They dropped off laundry. She folded it. They vented. She listened, never interrupting. But one day, she fell. A broken hip, and for the first time, she couldn't serve. They stopped calling as often. Didn't ask how she was. Just waited for her to get back to normal. That's when she realized. She had confused being loved with being needed. Brain, why this happens. Many parents, especially over 60, tie their worth to what they do, not who they are. But here's the truth. Your children don't need a servant. They need an example. And when you stop overgiving, you don't become useless. You become human again. Wrench what you can do. 1. Notice when you give from fear, not joy. Ask, am I doing this because I want to, or because I'm afraid not to? 2. Practice receiving. Let them help you. Let love come your way, even if it feels strange. 3. Affirm your value beyond your tasks. You are wise, you are kind, you are still here, and that is enough. Compass, the deeper truth. You were not born to earn affection. You were born to love and be loved freely. You don't have to prove anything. Not now, not ever, because the most respected people aren't always the busiest. They're the ones who know their worth, even in stillness. Rebuild respect by respecting yourself. You teach people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. So ask yourself this. When you speak, do you speak with confidence or apology? When you look in the mirror, do you see someone worthy of love? Or someone trying to stay useful? Because here's the truth. Respect starts inside, and it grows outward. Speech balloon real comment says, I waited for my kids to respect me, but I didn't respect myself either. Not for years. You can't demand what you don't demonstrate. If you minimize your needs, if you tolerate disrespect silently, if you make yourself small to keep the peace, your children learn. This is normal. Speech balloon story, Frank's walk. Frank, 80, used to say sorry all the time, even when asking for help, even when just entering the room. One day, his grandson said, "Why do you always apologize? You didn't do anything wrong." It struck him, so he stopped. He stood taller, spoke slower, looked people in the eye. He didn't demand respect. He embodied it. And it changed how his whole family saw him. Brain, why this works. People mirror your energy. If you move with doubt, they'll doubt you. If you carry quiet pride, they'll notice. If you set a standard, they'll rise to it. You don't need to fight for respect. You need to model it. Wrench what you can do. 1. Speak clearly, not timidly. Don't shrink your words. Use language that honors your age and insight. 2. Invest in yourself. New clothes, a hobby, learning, not for others, for you. 3. Say what you need, without apology. Not sorry, but say, "Here's what I need right now." Pause for a moment. Have you ever felt like your voice no longer matters? Even in your own family? If yes, you're not alone. Share one moment in the comments where you felt unseen, unheard, or disrespected. You don't need to explain everything, just speak from the heart. Someone else might read your story and feel less alone. Compass, the deeper truth. Respect isn't something they give back. It's something they recognize. When you've already given it to yourself, you are not invisible. You are not past your prime. You are a living example of strength. Walk like it, speak like it, and let them follow. Don't beg for respect. Become the person they ask advice from. You used to be their guide, their rock, their compass. Now they Google everything. They ask their friends. They make big decisions and tell you afterward. You feel left out, and worse, unnecessary. But here's the shift. Don't chase their attention. Become the kind of person they want to learn from again. Speech Balloon Real comment says, "I used to try so hard to be involved. When I backed off and focused on my own life, they started coming to me more." This is the paradox. When you center your life around them, they tune out. When you center your life around yourself, with calm, with wisdom, with strength, they tune in. Speech Balloon Story, Helen's Comeback. Helen, 76, used to wait by the phone for her children. She'd send long texts, offer advice, try to help. One day, she decided to focus on herself. She joined a community group, started painting, volunteered at the local garden. She didn't do it for them. She did it for her. And 3 months later, her daughter called and said, "Mom, can I get your opinion on something? You always seem so grounded lately." Respect doesn't come when you ask for it. It comes when you live it. Brain, why this works. People respect people who respect their own time, their own joy, their own sense of meaning. You are more than a parent. You are still a person, and when you own that, people take notice. Wrench what you can do. 1. Reclaim your identity outside of mom or dad. Ask, what did I love before they needed me? 2. Stay curious. Stay learning. Read, explore, grow. Let your children see that you're not finished. 3. Lead quietly by example. Be stable. Be thoughtful. Let your life be a soft answer to their noise. Compass, the deeper truth. The most powerful parents aren't the ones who lecture. They're the ones who live with dignity. And let that speak for them. You don't need to say, "Listen to me." You just need to become someone worth listening to. And the right people will come back to your table. Redefine what respect means after 60. Maybe the real problem isn't just that they stopped respecting you. Maybe the deeper pain is this. You kept trying to earn the same kind of respect you once had, without realizing that life has changed. They don't ask for advice like they used to. They're busy, distracted, caught in their own storms, and somewhere along the way, you started waiting for them to define your worth. But here's the truth. You get to redefine what respect means to you after 60. Speech Balloon Real comment says, "I wanted their validation so badly. Then I realized I needed my own first. Respect now means being at peace with myself, not waiting for their approval. Respect after 60 doesn't always look like being listened to. It can look like being centered, being calm, being deeply okay, with or without applause. It's how you sit at your table. It's how you breathe through silence. It's how you know, I am still me, even when they don't see it. Speech balloon story, George's porch. George, 83, used to feel frustrated when his sons barely called. He'd replay every word they said, looking for offense or affection. One morning, he sat on his porch, sipped his coffee, and said to himself, I don't need to chase it anymore. That day, he wrote in his journal, I respect my own pace, my own peace. If they come, I'm here. If they don't, I'm still me. That was the day everything changed. Inside him, wrench what you can do. 1. Choose what kind of elder you want to be, not one who complains. One who radiates grace. 2. Build rituals of self-respect. Morning walks, afternoon tea, evening journaling. Let each act say, I'm worth showing up for. 3. Release the need for constant approval, not out of pride, out of peace. Compass the final truth. You may not get the words you want, the recognition, the validation. But if you live with clarity, with dignity, with self-respect, you become the message. And often, when you stop chasing their attention, you receive their true admiration. Quiet, deep, and lasting. Conclusion. You don't need to fight to be heard. You need to remember your voice. You don't need to demand space. You need to stand in it. Fully, calmly, without apology. And when you do, respect follows. Always. Speech balloon. Subscribe to Longevity Talks Herb for more real-life guidance, strength, and grace after 60. And if this message spoke to you, tell us in the comments. What part reminded you of your own story? We're here, we're listening, and we see you.